You are now entering the Cue the Muses podcast. Please reserve submission of any joy meter statistics until after the program.
What is up, people? We
Hello.
have Dick. The sarcastic voice of inexcusability is with us today.
I am the sarcastic voice of inexcusability. Ash.
I almost renamed myself Ash Von Ding Dong to carry the spirit of the Pix, but I didn't. So here I am as just Ash. I'm playing myself today instead of the Von Ding Dong character.
That could be good or bad. That is an excellent snake shirt you're wearing, though.
Thank you.
The cobra?
You know, it's a cobra, and I happened to come across it while I was walking around the store with Felix, and I had just listened to an interview with David Blaine, and he was talking about the scariest stunt that he's done recently in the last year was kissing a king cobra on the lips.
Wow.
And he like chickened out of it and came back months later and then did it. So,
That was on Rogan,
that was
right?
on Rogan, yeah. And so I just saw the shirt and I was like, I don't know, it was such an impactful story. I went ahead and just got a shirt with a cobra on it because I saw it, so I thought it was destiny.
That's awesome.
Blaine selling those cobra shirts.
It
It means something. Speaking of things that mean things, I have been editing like crazy on the Cue the Muses episode 3. There's still a lot to do. I'm not trying to get people's hopes up. This ain't going to be out next week, but I'm gunning as hard as I can to have this out before the year is out. Hopefully it's a big, amazing Christmas present or a New Year's celebration, something like that. And
something of a Groundhog's Day celebration.
that's right, because we're going to watch this thing 100 times until the next episode comes out after.
No, I've been getting the updates, the 1 and 2 a.m. Screenshots.
Am I fucking you guys sleep schedule by doing that? Is your phone dinging?
I hope that everyone does the same thing that I do and doesn't let their phone make any sort of noise from like messenger notifications.
From Messenger on Facebook. I would hope not too. And I started doing that just because it makes me a little more accountable, and it's just kind of fun to share like the consistency of progress, when it is picking up. I'm trying to do it as often as I can. I'm on a roll right now. I'm hoping this will carry through the rest of the month is my goal. I know at the beginning of December, it's going to slow back down for a little bit, but then hopefully it's going to get a little tricky during Christmas, but I'm hoping around the Christmas area that I can get another run at it for another couple of weeks, and that's kind of how this is working, like a couple of weeks in a row where I can just do half days like every day. And then my half days are starting at like 9:30 p.m. and going till 2 a.m.-ish pretty much.
Yeah, it always gets tough in the holidays too. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are.
Well, that's the thing. It's like funny because like it slacks off for work a bit, which is like, but then that's my opportunity. So for me, it's like I just got to stay. I'm just trying to stay on it and keep chipping away on it. But I'm really happy with how the scene came out. I have like one more. It's a big scene that happens before I get to the music video edit. I did talk about possibly going back and forth. I might do that, but that gives some marker of where we're at in the edit. And then coming out of the music video is one more scene that would have to be edited. So it's kind of like I got three big parts left. The music video by far being the largest because of how crazy I'm trying to take it. And
this was the first one filmed, the one that you're
music video, yes.
Music video edit, yeah. The first music film of the project.
It's interesting because the story part of it was like the last thing we filmed. And then the music video that's in it is the first thing that we filmed. So I'm wondering if I'm going to see a big age gap. We go back in time when we enter the mind of Dobbs.
Somehow Dick developed crow feet.
He looks really good in this music video, but it looks like shit in the acting.
Man, he really got fat, man. Let's go.
But it's coming out cool. I'm laughing. I like how I'm figuring out some things. The overall flow of the edit, it really is faster than the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I'm figuring out more of a rhythm with how to do it, and I'm kind of attacking it different, like the order of events and how I'm doing the edit, and it seems to be working. And that's kind of like, that's this whole thing. Is like when it comes to edits that I know that I've done a lot of times, I have formulas, on how to organize it, and then it's still, I pursue an original end result. But with this, I've done so little scripted material. A lot of guys in my situation with these kind of one man band, videos that make, or companies that make videos for companies. A lot of it's that mini doc style platform, and a lot of it, we all get practice doing visuals with music to an extent. I've gone really far down the rabbit hole without the music videos, but when it comes to scripted content, it's you get less practice at that a lot of times. Even if you're going to do a commercial for a big company, it's only 30 seconds. That's very different than editing a 5, 10, and in my case with the Trans Am stuff, sometimes a 20-minute film. You get way more time editing something like that than executing a 30-second commercial and then another 30-second commercial. It's just not, even if you do 10 of those, you've still only made 5 minutes of content.
Yeah, and 30-second commercials are like, the dialogue is 2 or 3 sentences, descriptive sentences or something.
Absolutely.
More or less descriptive content instead of where, a dialogue where you have to flow between multiple people. I can only imagine the headache and the limited editing that I've done just in stupid little videos that my little PC can do. It's infuriating. And just seeing what you can do. I was at your house, 2 weeks ago? And I got to see, you showed me where you were at with episode 3, and it was killer. It's killer.
It's exciting, man. It's exciting. That's the 4th scene in that episode. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's the 4th scene. So 4 scenes done, then the music video. I'm sorry, 1 more scene, then the music video, then 1 more scene. The only thing that I'm skipping past here is that the music videos in themselves all have a little bit of scripting before and after. This one has the most before and after. Out of all the ones, actually, I shouldn't say that. Two Bears had a considerable amount, or My Soul is an Element. The working title was Two Bears. My bad.
But the episode 1 music video, My Soul is an Element, with Nadira.
Yes, with Nadira.
Yeah. But that one had to set a precedent, because when that episode transitioned into the mindscape, there, you did
first time.
Yeah, you did a brilliant job of just creating that change in atmosphere. When I was in Tallahassee with you, we had fight night at your place last Saturday. On Sunday, I got to go have lunch with the buddy that couldn't make it Saturday night, and we ended up back at his house after lunch, him and my son, and I let him watch episode 1, and he was like, he had seen the Fighting Giants one. He was like, yeah. Have you done any more music or anything? I saw the karate thing, you did with that thing. I was like, oh, you gotta check out the new one. And he was blown away. I said, watch. I said, if the silly B movie campy stuff is just kind of too dumb, because it's like dumb on purpose, and he liked it. I was gauging him. He was smiling. He was getting into it. And I said, there's one point where it changes. And you did beautiful. Like I said, when it goes into the mindscape, the tone and everything changes. I don't know what you did, but the audio, everything, the whole vibe is just otherworldly. It's perfect for what happens.
Cool.
Yeah.
A really concerted effort to make it feel that way. I mean, and part of what that entailed was honestly holding back on making all the stuff leading up to it look too good. I wanted there to be this exaggeration of it feeling higher production and more polished, and then immense saturation in colors. And I saw a lot leading up to it. Everything that's outside of the lab is still a little muted in color. You don't realize it so much. And then I've played into in episode 2, when we exit the lab, it's even more desaturated, because it's out in the world of a lack of creativity is the concept that I have going there. Right. So it's drab, it shouldn't feel pretty, and it shouldn't feel like fun per se. And so it's kind of played down. And then that way, when the music video happens and it's like an over the top amount of saturation and color spectrum, like I'm just pushing the hell out of whatever the chosen color is for that particular music video, it really hits your eyes. And another trick is that leading up to the music video, it's all got the movie crop on it, which is that the crop bars on the top and the bottom, so you have that panoramic feel, which I've done on all my music, on most of my music videos until a couple of years ago. I started exploring maybe not using those, but I always used them because the first thing that you think of when you see those crop bars at the top and bottom is it feels more professional. It feels like a movie. So I do it for everybody's.
It feels really cinematic. Yeah.
It immediately guarantees that there's going to be this level of it feeling like it's like a film a bit more, right? Yeah. But it is technically, I mean, what you are doing is you're cutting off the picture on the top, you're cutting off the picture on the bottom. You're literally cropping out a section of footage that's there. So after I watched the movie Pi, which was like an Ang Lee movie based on a book that was super popular. Did you see this movie?
Life of Pi?
Life of Pi.
Yeah. That's great.
Not
tiger. Yeah, he's in the boat.
Yes.
The boat with the tiger.
So
awesome. Beautiful.
It's very cool. A gorgeous movie. And in that movie, it was like talked about among cinematographers that he chose to put the crop bars on and then occasionally took them off for dramatic effect. So, and then I was like, it really worked. And so I was like, I'm going to try that. Originally, when I was planning the filming of the movie, I thought the opposite. I thought I was going to do all the story stuff with no crop bars, so it felt less cinematic. Then you go into the music video and it feels super cinematic. But I actually realized it was way more powerful to reverse it. And so when you go into the Mindscape world, those crop bars are gone for the first time. And so this box is alleviated. And everything's big and open and oversaturated and beautiful. And so it's just this extreme hit and it feels like more special. That's the concept anyway that I was going for with these.
It's awesome. And it's a perfect metaphor for the, for the constricted and choked world that we're in the real world, essentially.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
And once we're back in the realm of human creativity, the doors open, and it's I
mean, this is supposed to be a place that's flooded with the essence and soul of the creative spirit, right? So it should feel magical, and I wanted to feel otherworldly, which is hilarious because if you look at it, there is literally nothing in the music video other than teleporting. There's nothing physically in these shots that would not be in a normal world. It's not like there's fantastical prop pieces and magical rocks
all of the great, awesome props are in the real world shots. Yeah.
Ironically, yes.
Well, we bring Mike's devices in too.
That's true.
In with us, but I think that's the trade-off, and that's another. Maybe not tying into the show's theme so much, other than we're still off the grid. We still have our creativity. So our lab is booming with all of the practical, awesome props. And it's like almost a visual backstory of you and I off grid, trying to hold on to creativity, still making stupid, crazy contraptions and concoctions.
That's right. That's why the lab has some color. It's not as exaggerated as the music videos, but the lab, compared to once we step outside of the lab, that you'll see a massive difference in saturation levels.
Yeah. It's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. It's fun. I mean, it's really fun getting to implement all that. But, I'll tell you in retrospect, I'm looking at this and the pace of the episodes over the course of time. Now I'm going to get into marketing mode here, guys. I don't know if you have to think about all these things whenever you're making a project like this. Okay. And so originally it was supposed to be a movie. Maybe one day it will be a movie again. We'll see if it reassembles itself after everything's out. And, I wonder when people are watching this and we're people that, if somebody comes across us, they don't necessarily know us, they start watching this show and it doesn't look that good yet. So me holding off on it looking good, it could inhibit people from thinking that it's going to go in a place where it's higher production feeling, to the extent that they never make it to the higher production, should they just think it's so low budget. But I don't think it looks that low budget. I'm just saying it's
No,
interesting.
an analogy for what you're saying is in the recording studio with Brett one time, we David and Kurt and I have this idea, and we've always done it, in that like the last chorus of the song is the big chorus, like
yes,
some alternate harmony, some big thing. And we were telling Brett one day in the studio, tracking with him, oh yeah, we're gonna do this on the last chorus, a big one. And he's like, well, I've heard that before, but like, don't you want all of the choruses to be big choruses? Yeah. I was like,
yeah,
I know what you're saying. I agree,
yeah,
but this there's that artistic dynamic that doesn't really cohese with marketing, where if you want to catch a piece of it, you want any given piece of it to be
to blow them away. Right.
Yeah. And that's the marketing side of it. But the artistic side of it is, I want it to have the ups and downs and the flows. And I want the big part to be totally unexpected. And it's even better because the part before it was so dull on purpose. Exactly the same thing with music, with film, with art, any kind of moving art form.
Totally. If you have a really long intro to your song, do people make it to the meat? And for people that love the music, they want that intro. But for people that have never heard you before and don't give you the time of day, they never make it to the main part of the song. They might not make it to the first lyric.
Yeah, and I've experienced that very recently. You and I have talked at great length about growing up and old school Metallica songs with the super beautiful guitar, clean guitar intros. But recently, I try to branch out and listen to new music, and I've heard like I won't even name bands. I don't even remember the bands. I just know like a long droning intro of just noise, just like slow synth build up, one note, another note, like an ambient, like a theatrical score, kind of. Mm-hmm. But I've had multiple instances recently with me at 39, almost 40 years old, where it's like, that's enough. Skip. Not even gonna hold out. Like, it's just, come on, man. A minute and a half of just nothing. Like, and I've been that, and I didn't used to always be that guy, but I feel like a lot of it is just just a, not genuine feeling.
Yeah. And I think it's like, if we compare what you described, which I know what you're talking about, super atmospheric, it's a mood setter. I get the concept. It's going to kind of get you in a certain mode, so you're about to absorb every note to the utmost extent once it slowly comes in. I love all that. It's something that belongs really in the middle of an album, or for a band that has enough of a following that's ready to ride that train with them. But when you're trying to get discovered, it seems like you don't really.
You don't want to lead in with
single. You can't start with that. That's
more importantly, that song is not the song that you want to pop up on Dick's random new discovery playlist.
Right.
When I'm like, when I got a list, I use Amazon Music, and I'll do like my likes and more, and it plays new stuff that I've never heard. When something new comes on, that's not the one I want to hear. I want to hear track 1 on the album. I want to hear like Lamb of God, Laid to Rest opening riff, like just whatever it is, something that's just like, oh yeah, turn it up. I want to crank it.
Well, and to point out, you brought up Metallica's intros and stuff, but there was guitar playing all through them. I mean, it was like their intros really were there. I mean, they were musical from the start.
Yes. Well, and Metallica's, they ended up incorporating the symphonic aspect much later in their career. Right, with the S&M stuff. But they were the band that, I mean, I respect them because they had an instrumental song on every album of the early albums. There was one that was just instrumental, and they let the songs breathe and really orchestrated their guitar parts. But it was always the band. It wasn't an extra element. It was always the
Right.
core band doing that. And
Yeah.
I saw a YouTube video earlier today, and I'm not going to go too far off topic here, but I saw a YouTube video earlier today. It was like a rig rundown video, and it was an older one. It was like 3 or 4 years old, of the Mastodon guys. And I saw that Bill from Mastodon, he said, "Yeah, I use this fractal changer. I use this amp, blah blah blah. But I've also got this Digitech looper pedal." And he said, "I use the looper because in between songs, you want to create an atmosphere, and a lot of bands use samples and different things." He said, "And that's cool, but I'm always like," this is his words, I'm trying to say what he said. He's like, I'm a big fan of the band coming out and being in your face the entire time with their vibe, their flow, their sound, and not like dead space in between songs and little banter, conversation, or whatever." So he would use the looper pedal after the song to create something and loop it and have this ambient sound that was him, that he created.
Yeah, I like that.
Improv in the moment, on the fly. So then he would play it. Then he could dislocate the guitar, change out guitars, go do a tuning. That droning would stay there between songs. I'm going to get one and do it. I promise you. That was
nice.
That's going to be a game for live sets. That's going to be a game changer that I think is going to be a huge thing, especially with guitar changeovers and things, and just eliminating that dead space and just keeping that atmosphere there. And
I like that idea a lot. And I believe that, I haven't gotten to test it. I'm
sure that light up Christmas tree thing you got back there does it. The FM9.
FM, the Fractal FM9, I'm pretty sure it has a looper in it. I hope it does. I'm pretty sure I read that, and I'm still going through sounds. I actually learned how to do like a handful of new things on it recently, and I'm like, oh my God, kind of opened the door to even more investigation. It's like just so many options, but I won't go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, it is a balancing act. And then you also got things like long songs versus short songs and all that. And we've gone the absolute, toughest, weirdest, we've gone the weirdest route. You want to talk about the longest intro ever? Enter Cue the Muses. We don't even enter our song until 20 minutes in, baby. We got a 20-minute intro to our songs.
20 minutes into the first episode. Then song 1 starts.
And then it's a 10-minute song or 12 minutes or some shit.
Yeah,
we're doing it all wrong, man.
My Soul is an Element is very long.
Yeah. It's so good.
I think it's 9.5. I think it's 9.
Is it? Okay. Well, I love it. It's everything it needs to be. And it's great. It's just, one thing that I realized that I wish I had done, that I thought about way earlier before I even actually got to start editing the Cue the Muses project. I had an intention of putting a snippet of the song at the beginning of the episode. And so it would start off with just this crazy snippet of right in the middle of the song. And then it would blank out, fizz out, glitch out or something. And then it'd say earlier that day or something like that. And then it'd go to the first scene or whatever. And that way people would have already known something that's coming. Amazing music's coming. High production is coming. And then it makes you know that everything is intentionally cheesy and low budget feeling at the beginning. Now, I do feel we'll have the opportunity.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. But all is not lost because, I think we're going to put these episodes out, guys. And I guess I'm telling you this in real time. If you've listened this far, you get to know a little bit of the concept here. But we're going to put these episodes out as we go. However, when we reach the 4th episode, if we still haven't become famous and people aren't absorbing these like crazy and we're still an unknown entity, then we might put the streaming on pause for a moment and reassemble it into a movie and do a viewing at the CMX Theater here in Tallahassee, Florida. See if we can't sell out a screen with all the bands.
How awesome would that be?
It would be so, and unveil the 4th episode that way. in the movie, and it would give me an opportunity to reassemble everything. There's some adjustments I can see as you sit on something for a year, tighten things up a little bit, make some adjustments on some color grades here, do some audio adjustments, make a few connection points, maybe implement something, a little bit of what I just mentioned, and just kind of reassess. And then maybe try to enter it in some film festivals after that, see if that does anything. And if nothing comes of that, republish the new, revised, remastered, finalized episodes all within, one right after the other, 1 week after the other, and have a crazy month where we're just publicizing it like crazy. And, and we would only do that if people haven't discovered it yet already. And, if we had big numbers on our YouTube, we get discovered before then, great. But if not, I think this is like, the thing is, when people check it out, they really seem receptive to it if they're in our demographic, people that really like rock music, anybody that's been in a rock band, they love the humor. And I think that we could try and dial in our audience, and that theater showing, guys, hype it up. I mean, I'm talking about get every publication that we can to write up about it, because it's a very interesting thing that's happening on a local level, a local filmmaker here in Tallahassee, all the bands that are from the Florida area. And, obviously we have Brett up in Tennessee, but he was formerly in Florida for a good stint. Talk about everybody's backgrounds. There's a lot to talk about in what this thing is and who's involved and the artists that came together for it, and just get all that and take advantage of that momentum. And then, just keep spilling out the episodes and streaming that month. Everyone will be talking about it from the theater experience. And guys, I'm sorry, but if people are checking it out on their phones as a first time experience, and they're watching it in doses, they're not even, because they're checking out 5 minutes and they check out 10. That's very, very different of an impression than coming in, sit down, slow down for a second. Mm-hmm. Watch this in a theater, hear it cranked up.
That's right. Yeah. It's just like when I was with Justin on Sunday, like it wasn't like show my buddy the video on the phone. We were at his house. He put it up he has a OLED, with surround sound. Yeah.
Awesome.
He put it on the OLED, and I was like, oh, you're going to like this. And of course he had it set at like 60 FPS, you know what I mean? And it was like, and I didn't even have him turn it off, because I was like, he's not a film guy, like some people enjoy it. They think it looks cool. It bugs me. It bugs you.
They don't know until they see the difference side by side. Like, oh,
yeah. It doesn't feel like a movie, but anyway, that's a different topic. The
high refresh rate, guys.
Yeah, the theater rental is 100% going to happen, and we talked about doing this early on. The original discussion was like IMAX before it had to be split into episodic version. We initially were talking about making it a continuous film, and then we were going to do a local premiere. And I think it's still a beautiful idea. You resurrected it. It's absolutely what we're doing.
It's like, why not? Why not do it that way? And get everybody in town for it. Everybody participates in trying to sell out one screening of it, and make it the talk of the town.
And we still have the big finale scene to film where anyone and everyone in the local music community in Tallahassee can come and be an extra and be a part and be in it, have them in the ending, the finale, because the end of this is the local community all resurrected and back to creativity, like what we are right now.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, but
if the end of this show, it's still worth watching, I promise. If you heard, this is more about music than anything, and a bunch of jokes. That's really what this is. Fun, silly jokes, and hopefully very, big, fun, exciting music, Yeah.
So when December 9th, to do a quick plug, December 9th, there's a show in Tallahassee at the Legacy on the Riverfront. Talked about it in the last episode. If you didn't catch it, I'm talking about it now. I am dragging the guy over there, that guy, the long-haired guy with the Cobra t-shirt, dragging him out. Him and I are going to, I already told Chris, Ash and I are going to get up on stage, and we're going to address the crowd. The first 20 people to come in the door get a free dick pick, guitar pick, and the Ash Fun Ding Dong pick, a pair of them. And
That's right.
we're gonna cordially invite the community to participate, to stay tuned and participate in the shooting of a scene that is yet to be shot in Cue the Muses. It's also a local show. It's a benefit show for, I don't want to mess it up. I'm not even going to say it. I don't have the
Toys for
information.
Tots.
Yeah, Toys for Tots. It's a PACE, packed show. You got to go to pact.charity and you'll find it. Go to pact.charity. You'll find it. Chris Godwin's putting it together.
Nice.
But Ash, so one thing we were going to talk about, you mentioned before we started this that there's the new Marvel movie came out, the Marvel. I haven't seen it. I've been kind of watching. I know some of the characters. I don't know some of the characters. I haven't seen many good things about it.
I'll tell you, I don't know a lot of what's going on in it because, to be honest, and this is more of the conversation point that I wanted to discuss about it, just the Marvel universe is it's heading downhill and has been for a while. I think that the only thing that they've released that I did think was great in the past while was Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Guardians 3 was great.
I loved that.
Yeah, Guardians was great. And I had a talk with Kyron earlier. He said that Quantumania was bad. And I thought Quantumania was okay. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Oh, it did terrible. I'm not saying that it was bad.
It did not perform well. I saw it. I thought it was I didn't like the villain. I didn't really like. I don't know. He's like the bad guy to Rocket or so. Maybe I'm getting him confused.
Well, it's among the top 3 worst performing Marvel movies that they've released out of the 33 movies, and this newest one is the worst as far as box office openings go. And so, 2 of the 3 movies that are their worst performing came out in back to back almost. And so it's like
it was the Eternals, right? Did the Eternals do well?
The other one was, I only wrote down the movies that did amazing, which is interesting too. No, I don't remember what the third one is that did absolutely terrible. Here, wait, actually, I've got it right here. It was, The Incredible Hulk back in 2008.
Oh,
and you know what?
That was the one with Edward Norton, though.
Is that the Edward Norton one, or is that the Eric Bana thing one? I think that was the Eric Bana one.
The Hulk is the Eric Bana one. The Incredible,
which was directed by Ang Lee, who did Life of Pi and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, amazing director, and that was a cool movie for its time. It just wasn't there. It wasn't there.
Yeah, Nick Nolte was the dude. It was pretty revolutionary, the effects that they had going at that time for how the Hulk came out. It was kind of slow. There were things that I liked about it. It was just like for how mean he was. I don't know. There's a few things, but it had a weird reception. And I misspoke. I do want to correct something. The last Ant-Man is not in the top 3 worst performing. It did do very badly, but the first Ant-Man is actually in the top 3. So it was Ant-Man, then Incredible Hulk, and then the worst performing movie that they've released for box office openings is this new Marvel's movie. And I think a lot of people just feel like what I think that they're talking about. I mean, it's bad enough. They're going downhill enough that they've moved a tremendous amount of their movies back by 9 months at a time. Granted, there was the writer's strike, but I think this is a move based on just performance figures alone. And there's only one Marvel Disney movie coming out next year. That's how much they've pushed back. But it's an interesting one. You probably know what it is.
It's Deadpool.
Deadpool 3. And it'll be the first time that Disney is a part of the equation for the Deadpool series. And it's the first rated R Marvel movie that Disney will be a part of as well. So
But the other two Deadpool movies are rated R.
that's right.
Fox.
But those were associated with Sony, right?
Fox. So
Fox.
Fox.
Sony's just Spider-Man.
Yes, Sony was the first buyer of the sell-off when because Marvel was in the tank years back. Marvel was in
Yeah.
the tank, near facing bankruptcy, and what did they do? They found the opportunity to sell some of the rights to their characters. The first one was Spider-Man to Sony, and it had then it was Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. The success of that one led to another purchase where Fox purchased the X-Men. Maybe the Fantastic Four too, X-Men and the Fantastic Four. And
Okay.
so then Fox owned the rights to the X-Men movies, which included the way the deal worked out. They purchased the character, the X-Men franchise, which means that any Marvel character that premiered at their first appearance in an X-Men comic was also property of Fox, and that included Deadpool. And so that's how the deal worked out. And then, that's why Fox had the rights to X-Men, Deadpool, Sony had rights to Spider-Man and Venom. And the collaboration came where Disney collaborated with Sony with Spider-Man when the Tom Holland Spider-Man was in the Avengers. That was okay. This is part of the story. This is going to be a necessity.
Yeah.
Huge. They worked together, and then it didn't work the same way. I think Disney bought Fox, and they had to buy Fox to get for multiple reasons. I'm sure it's not just to get the X-Men,
sure.
A huge part was for the X-Men because of the franchise.
Right, that makes sense. And it's like, and that Spider-Man Far Away from Home was the second best performing box office for Marvel. So they did, and it was great. It was great. I mean, they were doing really good. I hope that they just stay out of the kitchen when it comes to the Deadpool, because Deadpool, they've got it figured out. Let them do what they've been doing. Same with James Gunn and Guardians of the Galaxy. Just let the guy do what he does.
Yeah.
If he's even still doing it. Actually, James Gunn signed on for a bunch of DC. And so he's like in charge of a bunch of the DC stuff. And so, but where I really wanted to go with this is just that the superhero fatigue that people are ultimately having. I mean, how many times can we do these invincible characters that cannot die? I really feel like the comedy there's two aspects to it that bring it home for me. You can go either way or both. And one is comedy. If it's funny, like Guardians of the Galaxy or Deadpool, awesome. Super violent, and funny, that's Deadpool. That's great. But the other route would be make these characters be able to die. Like really make them be able to get hurt. That's why Batman's still cool, or was, until they fucked it up. The Ben Affleck Batman is like doing flips from cars to cars and jumping over. I mean, it's just it's an CGI character.
Yeah, it's too much.
Versus the Dark Knight series with Christopher Nolan, which was much more grounded and my personal favorite comic series movie of all time. I'm a huge Christopher Nolan fan. I love Christian Bale, love Tom Hardy. I thought Heath Ledger did the most amazing Joker. I know Joaquin Phoenix is a phenomenal Joker.
Totally different style. Yeah.
Totally different thing. It was like just a different movie that made me feel terrible. And I thought it was perfectly done. It was amazing. It was a masterpiece, the Joker was. But I don't like feeling that way. It's too close to home for me on some people that I know, and I'm like, but it was amazing. I'm not trying to take anything away from it, but I like the way I feel when I watch a Batman movie because I want to be Batman, That's why I bought this Cobra shirt.
But I get it though. It's like, I feel like, just like what you said, how many times is it going to be enjoyable to go watch a movie where, okay, oh, this person, oh, they're incredible. Oh, they have powers. Okay. Oh, they're going to do this huge thing where there's a bad guy and the bad guy is even more powerful. Oh, okay. Well, then we have to get multiple good guys that are powerful. And okay. Oh, yeah, it's going to be real hard. Oh, no, something bad happened. How many times is that plot going to play out? Because it's a comic book, right? Like
Yeah.
what I just read the best, I haven't finished it yet, the best comic book that I think, a couple good comic books I've read, but the last one, I got The Last Ronin.
Okay.
Last Ronin, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, it's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
It is post-apocalyptic and they're all dead except for Mikey, bro.
Whoa. That's crazy.
It is powerful. Oh my God. And I shouldn't say that because he's not wearing a color, he's wearing black. It's just
so you don't know it's Michael until later?
He has all the weapons. But I mean, it's Al. I didn't mean to ruin it for you.
You bastard.
He has all the weapons and it's like, oh my God. But like I knew going in that it was Mikey because I some stupid Facebook thing, and I'm sorry I ruined it for you. But like it is this like powerful story about vulnerability. And like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they're superheroes, but they're not invincible. They're not Captain Marvel or Superman. It's like that vulnerability is what makes it relatable.
That's what I'm saying. You got to have that vulnerability. I mean, that's what grounds Batman. It's what and it can be outlandish. It's not like Batman in the Christopher Nolan series didn't do some stuff that's over the top, but it's way more grounded. And it's like the fight scenes it's never a CGI character doing the fight scenes unless he's in the air, jumping off a building, maybe,
Yeah, but Batman always has like the post fight where he's back at the mansion and he's busted to shit and he's like tending his wounds, and Alfred says, "You're gonna kill yourself," that.
Yeah,
it's gonna kill you. You gotta stop. You gotta slow down. He's like,
that's right.
That's Batman.
I should say, I do want to clarify, the last Batman was excellent with Pattinson.
Yes, Robert Pattinson one. It was surprising.
It was great.
Really,
it was great. Very good. I was skeptical about such a scrawny Batman, but he did awesome.
It works. For that movie, it's gritty. It's film noir style.
It's a detective movie.
Noir. Yeah, it's more film noir than the Nolan. The Nolan movies are gritty and like just like the city underground bad guys. You know what I mean? Like they remind me of like the Die Hard movies a little bit, where this new one, the Batman, is like the Max Payne video game. You ever played Max?
They made not a little bit.
Was in it. The game was way better. It's similar to that style.
Well, I think that
city style.
Yes, and you're right with the film noir aspect is definitely in the newer one, and it's got that detective thing and the kind of narration feeling, and it's like more slow and drawn out. The Nolan is, I think, pretty typically Nolan's style in that his style of filming, or what he has done, is always real crisp. Even if it's dirty, it's crisp, it's clean, it's not dirty shots, where you have a bunch of objects in front, you're looking through blurred glass and all that. Like, he doesn't do that. That's the new Batman. You're like, you're looking through 5 objects for one spot of an eye behind something. The camera's crooked, the overall softness of playing into the film aspect of it versus Nolan's stuff feels it's just more crisp and clean and kind of perfect, and I like that look too, but I can see that same look in Inception, for instance, or, even The Prestige, which is like set back, and that's the next movie I'm going to show Tristan of Christopher Nolan's.
Love The Prestige.
So good, right? Batman and Wolverine in the same movie as opposing magicians in the 1800s. Get out of here.
And another good movie was the other movie that's like the same movie. Do you know about the other one? The Illusionist.
The Illusionist with Edward Norton. Yes. That was good too, man.
They're both great. They're weirdly, oddly, almost the same movie.
Same year.
So good. Yeah.
I think they were both literally, they weren't released on the same day, but they were in the theater at the same time.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know what happened. Somebody got mad because somebody tried to beat somebody to the punch for sure with that.
I guess, that it does happen sometimes. Like there was also the Volcano movies, Dante's Peak and Volcano. Both those movies, do you remember that in middle school? Two Volcano movies came out at the same time within a week of each other.
And let's not forget the meteor movies, the fucking asteroid movies, Armageddon.
Yeah, that's right. The two meteor movies, and then there was another like this. I mean, obviously, sometimes two war movies come out at the same time. That's happened a few times. But I want to say, what about the? Now, was Twister a standalone, or was there some other like hurricane style movie that came out around that time too, or it was standalone?
Twister was a standalone. That was the big Dodge commercial. They had like the new Dodge just made like redesigned the Ram, and that was like all I remember. Every scene in Twister was like that truck.
Like, yeah, dude, I loved Twister, man. I went and saw that a few times in theaters. I was blown away at that movie.
Yeah, it's Bill Paxton, man. Bill Paxton.
I know, man. Bill Paxton was awesome. He's not with us anymore. It's a bummer.
Oh, I know, it's super sad. Sucks.
Yeah.
You wanted to bring up something else before we talked about this. You had some, I don't know, what did you say? A survey?
Well, it's funny that you were trying to segue to that, because I literally was about to segue to that. Yes, it's not a survey. It's totally the wrong word. It's a guessing game. Welcome to Trivia Corner.
Trivia Corner. Okay.
And everyone's going to participate except for me, because I've got the fucking list in front of me. But let's have some fun, guys, if you're listening to this. Now, I'm going to give enough time where you can guess along, too. We've got
the Trivia Corner.
The Trivia Corner. I need a better name than that. I mean, Camera Corner was going to be a segment that I wanted to start implementing. Or
we need a good segue into it. And now that Dick has talked himself back into the recesses of his
this is going to
forced him into the Trivia Corner.
Trivia Corner. What's your sign? No, it's
all overpriced at Trivia Corner.
How much is your dog's ding dong on a Sunday?
At Trivia Corner.
At Trivia Corner. That really made no sense whatsoever. All right, so let's get real, people. Here's the question. The question is, what? I got a top 10 list here, okay, of animals with the strongest bites.
Ooh.
All right, and the trivia is to guess in order, and we're not going to get it. All right, but you can take guesses, and we'll see where they rank, right? And then what? Top 10 list, most powerful bite in the animal kingdom. Let's go with that. Let's preface it like that. So let's start with what do you think? Well, what we could do is have you guess what you think has the strongest bite, and we'll kind of keep working our way backwards here. Okay, because you may not guess the right thing. If you guess whatever you guess, I'll tell you where that ranks on the list of the top 10.
I have a good feeling that I'll be close, because I
hope so.
I've done a couple studies of bites in the animal kingdom. I know one that is not the most powerful bite force in the animal kingdom, that is commonly confused with the most powerful, and that's the great white shark. Great white shark is usually found. People think it's, but it's not. I'm going to say alligator snapping turtle.
Okay, let me preface a couple of things here. First off, it's not on the list. That one's not on the list. However, I will say that I have looked at this a few times, and I've gotten slightly different results across the list, because there's different ways to measure that change the list. And what I've figured out is that sometimes it seems like geographically certain countries want to have the animal with the strongest
Oh,
bite.
wow.
So their
Wow.
metrics are skewed in their direction, right?
Well, another one, a surprising one that I never thought of that I know it should be up there is the hyena.
You're right. That is on the list. That is on
Okay.
the list in the top 10. So where do you think that ranks?
I want to say the hyena is probably midway in that list. I'm going to say 4 or 5.
Very good guess. It's ranked number 6.
Okay. Okay.
And that's with a PSI of 1,100 pounds.
11.
Pounds per square inch, right? So that
Awesome.
1,100, number 6. That was very good. That was a very good guess. Your shark one was an interesting one though, because in that you didn't get it, but you said it was a misconception, which is interesting because I did see that the great white shark.
Is the great white shark on the list? Is it on the
Yes.
top 10 list? Okay. So what I'm referencing is I watched a study. It was like a documentary study.
Yes.
And the study was actually animals with the most powerful bite force. And they tested the great white shark. And I'm going to recite what the study was. I don't know what you're looking at, but the study did 2 things. The great white shark has a jaw, obviously, and the jaw bites. Now, the actual bite of the jaw isn't that strong. They measured just
Wait a second. I'm sorry.
the
You're
bite,
saying it has a jaw.
and it bites. And that bite, the force of just the bite isn't that much, but the great white shark's force comes from the body thrashing. The way the teeth are shaped like saw blades, the great white shark's bite is so tremendously powerful. It's because it bites, and it's the power of the shearing of that animal's that 2,500, 3,000 pound body violently shaking with saw blades for teeth as it shakes side to side. And that is why it cleanly cuts. It's not a clean bite like a snapping tortoise will have a beak that makes a clean bite because of the clamping pressure. The shark shears side to side. Now I'm reciting that from the documentary that I watched with a study.
Do you remember what that was? What documentary company?
I wish I could. I want to say it was something that was on the Discovery Channel, years back.
I've got to cross-reference this for fill the gap. There's only a second. I've almost got the sentence typed out.
It's like it was one of those deals where people think that the shark has this incredible bite, but it's the jaw's the only part of the shark's body.
I did come across one of the initial lists that I came across did have the great white shark lower, which was surprising. Let me see here. Okay. Your observation aligns with the more common. I heard on Discovery Channel the great white shark is not that strong, because I'll tell you, on this list it has it as as the strongest at 4,000 psi. Okay. 4,000 psi. But then I got, that's the third list in a row that I saw that had it rated that high. And so it's like, I guess that's accurate. But when I looked before on other lists, it wasn't as high as that. Now I just typed in the question. I heard on Discovery Channel, the great white shark is not that strong. And it says your observation aligns with the more commonly accepted data regarding the bite force of the great white shark. There's a bit of a discrepancy in various sources about the exact bite force of the great white shark, but it is generally agreed that it is less than that of the blank, which we'll leave blank for a second. The blank is often cited as having the strongest bite force of any living animal. So it put it back to number 10.
Yeah, I think and there's so many studies. This one that I'm looking at here says the great white shark's bite force is 625 psi. How much did you say the hyenas was? 1,200?
The hyena is 1100 psi.
1,100.
And over here, I'm seeing the great white shark. It's so estimates vary, but generally, often around 1200 to 1900 psi, based on the other way of perceiving the data, versus the 4000 that's quoted on the other list. So there's a little bit of a letdown on the accuracy of our list, because what are we supposed to go with it? It may just be that is a very difficult animal to test the bite pressure of, because
Sure. And I'm telling you, it's because they're taking that pressure sensor, and those sharks grab, and they
it makes
shake
sense. That makes sense.
And I'm kind of standing behind the thesis, and I'll do some research sidebar later, and I'll find that.
I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. I think the question becomes if it can do that. I mean, I'm thinking about Kung Fu, right? And in Kung Fu, there's a principle of power. There's multiple principles of power, equal and opposite framework. One of them is whip. And it's the concept of how you basically fling your body into the punch, and at the end of it, it's like a whip. You think about the shark and it moving its body that way. At the end of the day, if it just bit and it had to stay static, yeah. But if it does do that thrashing, what does the meter say at the end of that whip technique? If the bite is the end of the whip, maybe it is like 4,000. Just like an impact hitting is different than just how much pressure can be created.
Yeah, it's including a lot more forces than just strictly the compressive force.
Yeah.
I think like the study that I'm thinking of, it's just the compressive force of the jaw that they're looking at.
You can imagine trying to figure out how to test that in a great white shark. How would you possibly hold it still to know how much it would bite, right? Like
sometimes they do like investigative bites where they just kind of like paw at it and nibble at it a little bit, and then you've got like videos off South Africa where the thing, it's a 10,000 pound animal that hits a seal and its whole body comes out of the it probably hits 35 miles an hour swimming straight up and gets airborne. And
it's crazy, that footage.
That impact is going to be 10,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Well, the great white seems to be a tricky one that's flip-flopping around. So let's just say, that one varies quite a bit. And I think as we approach the hour, I've got a way of consolidating this more. I'm going to throw out a name of an animal, and you guess where it ranks on the list.
Okay.
That might be a little more direct, right? Instead of all animals that exist. We're learning, guys. I'm sorry. Trivia Corner sucks at first. I'll get better at it.
We're going to get good at this.
Okay, so where do you think a lion ends up on this list? And what would you guess because it's on there. What do you think its PSI is?
Okay.
And that's for all of you guys watching this.
Here's my easy guess. My hip shot guess is that a lion's bite force is less than the hyena.
You are right. So we know that the hyena ranks number 6.
Number 6. And this is so we're looking at 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm gonna go
it backwards. So 10 is actually the strongest, and 1 is the least. I know I told it to do it the other way, but maybe I reworded it wrong.
So if it was a ranking system, hyena is actually number 4. The 4th strongest. Number 10 is the most powerful, right?
10 is the most powerful. Hyena is number 6, working its way up towards 10.
Okay, so the lion then,
so
I think
1 would be the least powerful, 10 being the greatest.
Yeah, so I think lion is number 3.
All right. Number 1, it's the least powerful, and I have seen this consistently on these lists, that the lion is surprisingly the least powerful on the list. 650 psi.
Really? That's what the other article I said about the great white. And a lion, so lions they're carnivores, and they strictly eat meat. They hunt, and when they kill, it's, my limited knowledge. I know that cheetahs kill specifically with a certain bite. A cheetah chases down in a specific bite on the neck that constricts the carotid arteries, and they suffocate the animal with their jaw. That's the only way a cheetah will kill an animal. They chase it down and they grab it by the throat and they basically choke it with their mouth, and then they eat it. And lions and cheetahs both do not eat the bones of the animal. That's why the hyena has a higher bite force, because the hyena
Eats
also
those bones, baby.
bones. They don't taste anything. They are efficient eaters.
It's surprising how, I mean, a hyena, you look at the framework of it, you wouldn't think it'd have such a strong bite, but it does. All right, we're getting past our hour, so let's cut to it. There's no cheetah. There is a jaguar. Where do you think that ranks?
I think the jaguar is stronger than the lion, for sure, because you said the lion was number one. I think the jaguar is less than the hyena, which you said was number 6. So I think the jaguar is number 5, directly behind the hyena.
It is not. I'll tell you what it's number 5. This is kind of surprising. This is a surprising one. So the jaguar is actually ranked at 8.
Oh, wow.
Out of 10. It's really strong. It's 2,000 psi.
Wow.
And at number 5 that you guessed, number 5 is a tiger.
Huh.
So it's tiger. Then
these big cats have strong bite force.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's crazy that tiger number 5, number 6 is the spotted hyena. So the hyena is stronger than the tiger. And then at number 7, I'm just going to go ahead and give away some here, is the hippopotamus.
Yeah.
1,800 psi. Big jump up from the spotted hyena.
I'm going to take a wild guess that the hippopotamus is the most dangerous and highest death count animal on the list.
Maybe. I do not know. Or for people?
Yeah.
People deaths.
I'm going to say by year annual deaths caused by an animal. I'm going to say the hippopotamus has the most on the list.
It might. I didn't do that as part of the survey, but you might be right. I've heard how crazy aggressive they are.
And so jaguar's number 8, hippopotamus is number 7.
Yes.
What you said?
And so number 3 and 4. Well, we're just going to go through 2, 3, and 4. Number 2. The second most powerful, interesting, is the grizzly bear, 975 psi. So lion, then grizzly bear.
Biggest land-dwelling animal on the list.
The polar bear is following that, and I believe a polar bear gets bigger than a grizzly, right?
You're right, even bigger. Polar bear is the biggest bear on the planet.
1,200 psi.
Wow.
Yeah, number 3 there. But you know what goes past that at number 4 is a gorilla. A gorilla has a stronger bite than a polar bear at 1,300 psi. Is that right? All 3 lists have it at 1,300 psi. I tried to do 3 lists so I could cross-reference here.
Wow.
Yeah, actually 4 lists have the gorilla pegged at 1,300 psi. So that's isn't that wild? All right, so then we're going to skip ahead. We've gone all out of order here. According to these lists, the top 2, if we're going to, let's just discredit the great white shark, guys, because it's like on one list it's the most powerful, on another list it's just not. So I don't know where to peg that great white shark, but let's skip to what we know are the top 2 on every list. And the top 2 are the American alligator and the saltwater crocodile.
Yeah.
Which one do you think is more powerful?
Saltwater crocodile.
That's right. By a landslide at 3,700 psi versus 2,125 psi.
They're just different. They're just a different caliber of animal. We live in Florida. There's alligators here in Florida. They're beautiful creatures. The saltwater crocodile is just, I mean, I grew up watching Steve Irwin, man.
Yeah,
Steve
yeah,
Irwin,
yeah.
Hunter, and what a fucking amazing human being he was. But
Yes.
just those are just the most insane animals on the planet.
Yeah.
Saltwater crocodile. The one thing that I would like, yep, no, I'm good. I think I would be only more scared of a hippopotamus because I
Yeah.
know that I would definitely be less likely to approach a hippopotamus than I would for a saltwater crocodile. If I
Maybe
had to choose.
so. Maybe
But
so. I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
For it's a bad situation if that's what you're having to choose from to begin with.
Yeah.
But depending on how much land is available, how deep in the water I got to go, where exactly is the crocodile, and where exactly is the hippo? Can I see them both? Is one hidden? Yeah.
Yeah.
But those are both terrifying. And yeah, but you know, the American alligator, which we have, and I literally, you know, float by on kayaks with kayaks, you know, 2,125 psi. That is one of the most powerful bites on the planet in the animal kingdom. And the only thing with the more powerful bite is a saltwater crocodile and a great white shark, depending on how you calculate its bite force.
Yeah.
So
That was
pretty wild.
We'll have to have another discussion. That's a good one. I like this.
That's
I
kind of
like
fun.
Yeah, I like this game. I like
Yeah.
this game. We made it.
You can do it too. You could pick out a thing like this, and I'll be on the quiz side, you know, the guessing side. So we could trade back and forth.
And one day we'll do a live one. We'll have to do a live one.
Yeah, this is a good live one. People can chime in. That'd be fun.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
So trivia corner.
Yeah. Welcome to Trivia Corner.
We need another word that's instead of corner that starts with a T, just like I would do camera corner. That's a segment. And then we need trivia something that's a place or a spot.
It's a trivia tea party.
Oh, well, you know, trivia time.
Trivia time.
It's trivia time. After camera corner and, you know,
trivia time and
pop culture Pegasus.
Pop culture Pegasus. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the 1 hour 44-second mark, and I had a couple of things, but trivia corner, I think, is that's the closer.
That's the closer, yeah.
That's got to be the closer.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, man. All right,
Awesome.
So Cue the Muses. Check us out, www.cuethemuses.com. Go to YouTube, find the show, check it out. Let us know what you think. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Come see Ash and I in person at Legacy at the Riverfront on December 9th.
Tallahassee, Florida.
Tallahassee, Florida. My band, Dave's Last Night, will be performing with, and I'm going to do this because I've got this written down right here in front of me. This is insane lineup, guys. December 14th at 5 p.m. The show starts.
Wait, December 9th, 14th.
Sorry, December 9th. December 9th.
Okay.
14 bands on December 9th at 5 p.m. The show starts. Headlining acts are, and I'm going to say these in order: Defy the Tyrant, The Retrograde, This Dying Breed, The Sparrows, Trial by Stone, which ain't nothing to fuck with, Mutual Friends, Fetish, Thunder the Snake, Curly Q, False Chase, Satin, The Rockadillions, Dave's Last Night, and Rowe. Big
David Rowe.
Big
Rowe. Is this multi-stage? 14 bands, 2 stages?
Yep, multi-stage. They're having the music hall, the big main stage, and they're also doing the tiki bar out back, the tiki stage outside.
What are you guys performing on? Where can we find you?
We're playing in the music hall. Big Dave's opening up at the music hall, 5 o'clock, opening the show. You and I are going to be on the music hall addressing the audience, talking a little bit. I think we're gonna co-works. We haven't decided who. David's probably going to do it. If not, we've got a backup. But we're going to open the festival up with the national anthem, a cappella, like traditional. Yeah, it's going to be cool. And then you and I are going to come up, and we're gonna do a little play host at the beginning. It's Chris Godwin's a charity fundraiser for the PACT programs at PACE. Go to pace.charity for more information. It is an X101.5 sponsored event, which is cool. It's cool. Ian McKenzie is working for iHeartRadio as a something for iHeartRadio, and he's not a DJ. He's doing
janitor.
He's some kind of janitor. He's some kind of like salesman spot guy, but he's gonna help do good things and hopefully bring back some sort of like reminiscence of what it used to be. Because you remember how the old shows used to be. They get AJ and Sour up there and X1.5 and
there was radio support.
Yeah, all kinds of cool stuff. And I know that they're making steps to bring that back. And I think that's
cool. Yeah, nice. Very cool. Well, obviously, I'll be there. December 9th, guys. That's the day after my birthday. So it's kind of a big celebration about me. And everybody will be...
It's all about Ash. Bring money. Bring gifts. Bring guitars. Bring gift guitars for Ash.
Just bring money, and I'll take some time off and make more Key of the Muses.
That's right. Bring your heart. Bring your wallets.
Actually, you know what you guys could do for my birthday? You could tell one person you know about Key of the Muses and maybe share an episode or a song. That'd be the best birthday present.
That would be
Extend
great.
Key of the Muses out to one person you know, and have them promise to extend it to one person they know. And onward.
Yes.
And I'll bring the triangle.
Birthday
pyramid.
You can 5 people.
All right, guys. Love you. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you made it this far. We'll see you next week on the Musecast podcast, Cue the Muses podcast. And the episodes are all available online. Feel free to share. Love ya.
Love y'all. We are out.